Okay. I'm going to start, there you go. I've already started recording. Okay, great. So we have Josh with us today.
Hello.
Josh is the founder of the Church of Absurdism.
I wouldn't say I'm the founder.
Okay. Well, tell me, I have zero knowledge of the Church of Absurdism. I just love the name. So what is the Church of Absurdism?
Um, well, it's my personal project, you could say, right?
Okay.
And I mean, one of the aspects of like what absurdism is the story, like that one story of where you can push this with a man that has to push a rock up a hill for the gods, or like it was a myth, right? And then for the rock to just fall down and him to do it again. That there's like no actual, it's the idea that there's no real purpose to the universe, but us as humans in it has that conflict, right? There's that conflict of we must find a meaning and there's no meaning, which is what they call the absurd.
Right. Okay. So the Church of Absurdism is that when we look at the universe, we think like, okay, we had a 1 in, trillion times a trillion chances of being here. Surely that's not a fluke. Surely we're here for a reason. Is that correct?
Yes, but
Okay.
is there? And if we accept that there's not a reason, then what position does that put us? That puts us in the absurd, right? We have to either accept the absurd, or we could kind of make our own, which is what a religion, I believe, and this is my opinions, right? These are my opinions.
Yeah.
That we make a religion and we put our meaning into that, right?
Okay.
So that it's like every single religion kind of is already like taking that, right? Is seeking those ideas that if there is a meaning, this is the meaning. This is the meaning to the universe, and we must, follow its instructions, which is what every religion kind of. I mean, yeah, I'm like trying to find words for it, but that's my. I guess that's my gist of it.
Okay. So now I'm certainly no religious scholar, but it sounds like what you're saying is that by you creating the Church of Absurdism, this is your wanting to make sense of the world.
Yeah.
Right. And that you've been placed on the earth to be one of the founders of this church. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other meaning of absurd is that's can I swear on this podcast, by the way?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's bullshit, right? Like
Right.
something's absurd, that is full of bullshit, right?
Right.
Which, why not? I can do that. I could be anybody I want, right? Which is what, because I took school in Canada, right? I was a Canadian student, and what I heard through like broad, TV shows and school, that I could be anybody I want to be, right? So let's see. Did the school system, did society lie to me and was just giving me false hope of I could be who I want to be? Or were they telling the truth? And that's one of the things that I'm going to take advantage of.
Okay. Because to me, sorry, you're going to say something, Josh?
No.
Okay. To me, absurd, and maybe this isn't the correct definition, but absurd is like, that is just weird. Like, I don't understand that. That to me is absurd. Like, what? That's absurd. That's my definition, but I'm not saying that's the correct one.
I'm okay with that, right?
Okay.
Which is, that's kind of how we view everything. Like the space. Like, how does space work? How does the sun work? It's like we need information to understand something, right? So if we don't have the information, it's absurd to us. Does that click with you?
Yeah. So how do we make sense of anything?
Yeah, we need information. And if we can't get that, let's find a way to get that. right?
So what to you is absurd?
Well, the absurd. It's the absurd,
The absurd, right?
the conflict between a meaningless universe and sentient beings who want meaning.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So do you, this is this is obviously a mind-boggling, like, right? There's a book that I've read and I mention it all the time. I kind of name drop it all the time. It's called Sapiens by Yuval Harari. Have you ever read it?
No, but I'm really interested. Can you give me the? Let me
It
just write this down. I wanna.
Yeah, please do. Well, it talks about communication and how we've created stories, and through our stories, we have allowed ourselves to evolve, right? And this idea of consciousness, whether it is or it isn't, it's an abstract concept, right? But through it, we have been able to create these stories that have influenced us to evolve into what we are now, right? Because, right now I'm in a house, you're in a house too, I assume. And we couldn't have gotten to where we are just in, like, you think about a dog's lifetime, right? They don't really tell each other stories that we know of, so they can't pass on information. But by passing on information, that allows us to remember and therefore build up societies and continue to grow. And for example, right now, everything that we do is in the hopes that there's a tomorrow, right? So we're always building on things. At least that's sort of how I see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we're always building on something. What gets kind of interesting is when we talk about, why are we here? Which sounds to be kind of your question. Why are we here?
Not really. I think I found an answer to that.
Okay.
Which is, do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
No reason. There's no reason we're here. We're just here because we are. And if we aren't here, then we can't ask that question. Right?
Right. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. So it's like either you're here or you're not. Obviously you're here, so you're here. So this is just, everything is just like a...
Yeah, that's the true... Like,
everything is nothing.
Yeah, like how a computer, right? A 0 and a 1. It's not like two states. It's existence. It's something and nothing. So we are something.
Right.
And we ask why we're something. And if we're not something, then we're nothing. And we can't ask that question. We can't communicate. We can't make the stories. We're not agents of the universe, right? If that's a word that could fit, right?
Okay. So have you heard of the flat earthers?
Yeah.
And what they're saying, have you ever heard of, I think it's called Solophicism? I don't know. Anyways.
Wait, are you talking about only you exist and everybody else? God, I'm on the tip of my tongue. I think
it's something like that, but
yes, I can't get it.
It's this idea that we are all that, because we can perceive ourselves, this is all that exists. And flat earthers, not trying to, knock them or nothing, but they've never been to the moon. They've never seen around Earth. Therefore, they base their knowledge, their information off of what they see. What they see is a flat Earth. Therefore, the Earth is flat. This is just based on my very small understanding of flat earthers. Going back to what you're saying is, because we don't have the information, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because we don't have the information, all we know is what we know and we exist.
Yes.
But we don't know how we got here. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, because with the flat earthers, can you empathize? So you can empathize with them, right?
I can understand where they're coming from. I believe the Earth is round.
Yes,
right?
Of course, right? Unless, and we can use Occam's razor or whatever, mental tricks that we want to, like, tell them, like, yeah, it's round. We have pictures. This is how we have a story of how the universe was made, right? And solipsism, which I think is how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
Says that, it's the only thing that matters is, like, us, right? And the stories we believe is what dictates our, what dictates the flat earthers, I guess. So they see the world as flat. Yeah, I completely agree with what you said about them, right? And I try to empathize with them and see, like, yeah, this is because one thing that was one thing about the flat earthers was that they felt that science, they were not, that scientist was kind of an elitist,
Right.
field. And if
Yeah.
if I try to write a paper, right, will that be scientifically accepted? If I cite cite it correctly, cite everything, right? I don't have a degree in, these things. And so does that mean I'm not heard? My ideas don't matter?
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of if you have that situation where you've made a higher status, which in this case is scientist,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not letting everybody in it, then you're going to get stuff like flat earthers. You're going to get people like that feel that they're not a part of the scientific community. And if they're not, then, well, you can't dictate what they say. They say the earth is flat. To them, the earth is flat. You've already pushed them away from science.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to bring them back and put them in a lower status of just people. Then it's you're not gonna. That's how you get rid of flat earthers. You let everybody in on the conversation, and eventually, flat Earth will, like, this theory, if they say, right, will eventually disappear. Hopefully, that's what my that's my solution to the world's problems, right?
And I think that you can expand that to the world, right? Because right now what's going on, at least what I observe, is that there's a lot of disharmony. And, especially on the internet, there's people, there's trolls, there's people that are just keyboard warriors, whatever, right? But they're not listening to the other side. So they'll look up Donald Trump, because obviously that's what's popular right now, and they'll say, Donald Trump sucks or whatever. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but it's like they're not even listening. There's not even a conversation there. They're just doing these, like, memification of, like, you suck, and nobody's talking. And when nobody's talking, does that change anybody's minds? No.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like that with the flat earthers. They're told that they're idiots, and then they double down on what they believe. Right. But if maybe somebody would have listened to them respectfully, then maybe they wouldn't be a growing community. I don't know. Right.
Yeah. And eventually, once you get an echo chamber going, right, then
exactly.
that the echo can eventually leak, and that's how we get people, So it just matters what echo chamber you're in. Are you in the global one, or are you in the one that has been outcast?
And that's a good point, because I think if we don't take time to kind of observe ourselves, we're all in an echo chamber in some form.
Yes.
Right. So, and then I think, okay, well, what's my echo chamber?
Yeah, what is yours? Do you know yours?
That's a great
That's
a great question. Yeah, go ahead.
Mine is the Church of Absurdism, which I made, and I'm allowing everybody in. Flat earthers, welcome. Trump supporters, welcome. Everybody who's evil, everybody who's good, all the world can join this, right?
Yes.
And we can talk, we can share information, and this is when I get some people, like, start when you say, like, questioning, like, can you actually do this? But create some sort of method or algorithm to find, like, actual truths. Like, we have that are either 1 or 0, yes or no questions, which a
Right.
lot of people can't answer for some reason. Like Mark Zuckerberg getting roasted by AOC. Have you seen that clip?
No.
Well, lot of these people on trial can't answer a yes or no question, which
Right.
that's kind of like that's the smallest bit of information, a
Yeah.
bit, 0 or 1.
Did you
So
commit a crime? Yes or no?
yeah, yes or no, right?
Right.
So if we write these down and we all agreed that, okay, we had a long conversation, this is all the information we have, and based on this information, we can say this is a 1, and let's write that down, right? And eventually, like, this one piece of information can branch out into multiple parts of 1s and 0s, and it'll branch out more and more. And what do we have? We have a tree. A tree of knowledge. Ooh,
You're a pretty smart guy.
maybe.
You're modest too. Okay, so what, Josh? Tell me here. How did you come? Like, what was your inspiration for this?
Um, Life, I guess. Being alive here,
Okay.
because I could tell you like how exactly I got into this mindset, right? But
Please do.
let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
So once the universe was a small state, and then it expanded, and yeah, you want me to go that that far back?
Well, I mean, you're telling me the universe. I want to know about you.
Yes, when I say the universe is me.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair. Then tell me. Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, that's kind of like this is a question that I've asked for a long time, right?
Mhm.
And nobody would give me the answers. They'd call me insane, they'd call me like depressed, and that's kind of what I went into as a youth, right? So I studied, I was at school, I tried to communicate with people, but these questions always were never answered to me, right? And I tried searching for them online, of course. We are in a new age, and no answers, still none. There's just I get a bunch of answers, but no one singular, this is the answer, right? And apparently, I get, I start to act out. I'm in a phase, right? And I, at least like something I found was depression. And am I depressed, right? And that's kind of what I fell into. I was suicidal. I had like some mental disorders and all that stuff. That's what they said, right? And I was put on medication. I was one time put in a like put under the Mental Care Act, which took a lot of my rights away and put me in this place where I had to talk to other kids of my, with my same, I guess, conditions, I guess.
Right.
And what did that teach me? What do you think that what do you think being locked up, having your phone taken away, this piece of technology that has given you access
A
to
gateway.
yes, a gateway to the world's info, and you're just with a bunch of like, I didn't learn anything there. I learned to conform. I
It
learned
certainly
to
didn't give you the answers that
yeah,
you're looking for.
yeah,
Right.
and right now and that's kind of like I graduated high school and I still had no questions, and yeah, get a job, get money, get all of this, and just keep thinking. And apparently, maybe it's my prefrontal cortex that has finally started developing, but this is the state of mind I'm in, and I've started this church, this tree of knowledge, and that's what I'm going after, right? Because people have called me insane, people have called me, crazy, called me whatever. Sure, why not? Apparently, whatever I say is madness. So let's say my name is Josh. Let's say, I'll make a bunch of stories about myself. Nobody will know the truth, because if they do know, then they just know I'm just a kid. and I'm okay with that. I'm just some guy, which is one of the quotes that I'm sticking with right now, which there's a video by The Onion 10 years ago, right? It was basically a fake satire news broadcast of a bear attack, right? And what the title was, some bullshit's happening. And they don't refer to it as a bear attack, they refer to it as bullshit.
Right.
Right? And at the end of the video, like the news reporters, like the anchor says, like, we'll be back with you if there's any updates to the story. There's probably not. Well, check with you anyways. I'm just some fucking guy. And that's that quote, I'm just some fucking guy.
Yeah.
I find amazing, and I'm gonna stick with that because that's who I am. Do I need a degree? Do I need to go finish schooling and get a diploma? Well, I already did that. Which one? Do I need to tell you? I can make it up. I can make up a bunch of like fake diplomas right now, right? I'm just some fucking guy. That's all that matters to you. That's all that matters to anybody.
Right. Well, that's pretty interesting because going back to what I was saying about language, language is, it can be quite constricting, right? So you're telling me something and then I'm trying to be prescriptive and say, oh, you're just like a chameleon. But like you're saying, we're so much more than the words that we have access to, correct?
Yes.
Right? There's just so much more to the world than what we know. And when you're describing like, this is who I am, but is this who I am? And this is what I did, but is this what I did? It reminds me did you ever see The Dark Knight and Joker?
Yes.
Such an awesome,
It's
you're like, what is this guy's origin, right? Like, because we want to know the origin.
I don't remember the exact, like, Dark Knight Rises, but I do know because it's memeified, right?
Yes. It's a great, it's the best superhero movie, in my opinion, which, I'm just some fucking guy, so.
That's the Bane one, right?
Oh, the Bane one is, shoot. I forget, but
that's the one I remember. But if you're talking about the Joker, then
watch the one with the Joker, Heath Ledger. It's amazing. I mean, the new one's really good, but it's super dark, obviously.
Yeah.
But so, I guess kind of going back to my point is, you had these questions, and you just kept answering. You kept asking them almost, ad nauseum, like, and people are getting frustrated. And because they wanted to silence you,
Yeah, I guess that's, if you want to be technical with it, yeah, they wanted to silence me, but I wouldn't put it that I find, like, you talk about language, but I find that terminology kind of harsh.
Sure.
Right? Like, did they really want to silence me, or was I being annoying?
Or maybe going back to the description, the descriptive, like, these are all the experiences that we've ever had. This is, this must be mental illness. So therefore, this person has a mental illness, right?
Yes.
Maybe that's what they were doing. I don't know, but.
Yeah, and this is the story that we were told in Canada, at least, and that's how they dealt with me, through this one story of, depression, which I don't know if I'm still taking, the medication Zoloft and a bunch of other ones. And yeah, I guess that's how I got here. But yeah, with the absurd, with all the, does my identity, does it matter? Can I just be a person? Can I just be some fucking guy? Am I allowed to be heard without any credentials, without any, like, actual, identification? Can I identify as the universe? Can I identify as everybody? And if I can be everybody, I can be anything I want, then so be it. I will. I am the universe. Nice to meet you.
That is interesting. Going back to the solipsism, which I'm not saying right, is
I can't say it right now either.
that's all right. But we know what it is, and we've
Yes,
defined it
yes.
for our listeners. But I feel like I'm going to challenge you on this. You can't be the universe because I am me, and I know that you're not me.
Okay. But we share something in common, right?
Okay.
I'm one, and the universe, let's call the universe zero. And you are a part of that zero, no offense, right?
Sure.
And to you, I'm a part of your zero, you're one, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's like I'm just, I'm one, and everybody else would be zero in that, solipsistic.
Yep.
Like I said that right this time. Solipsistic, idea that. So, how can we understand the universe if we can't really understand that concept of that everybody is their own universe, right? And everything else outside,
Right.
everything it's inside and outside. That's I'm
Okay.
really my mind is racing and I have these ideas, but I can't say it in language. That's kind of so I'm happy that you understand that language is not perfect, at least it's
No.
limits us to somewhat, because I have a bunch of thoughts racing right now I want to share with you, but I can't put it into words,
And
which
that's
is
okay.
frustrating, right?
That's okay. You can always try your best, and I could always be like, "Is this what you're saying?" And I could be wrong, right?
Yeah.
So
We're probably wrong.
exactly right, and so what you're describing is this kind of there's systems in everything, right? You look at nature and trees; they're connected, right? Like let's say we're looking at a forest. There's 100 trees there. Well, they're all connected, right? They're all
Yes.
part of a system.
You're,
They're part of the forest.
are you talking about the oldest living organism that's just a bunch of trees that are connected in the roots or something like that?
Well, maybe I'm not giving a specific example, but
Okay.
there's something called ribosomes, and it's like this vein that's underneath this topsoil, and it connects every single, follicle of grass to one another.
Yes.
So my point, what I'm trying to say is, and I'm trying to sound so smart, but my point is this: is that there is things that are all interrelated, but then there's also the individual thing. So yes, there's a forest full of trees, but at the same time, that one tree is also a massive micro ecosystem in itself. So going back to what you're saying is we are all connected, but we're also all individuals. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes. And the ribosomes in this part can be light, can be fiber optic cables, can be the internet. Can we use the internet as a ribosome and be one? Can humans unite with communication, just like these organisms outside? Because what are you and what am I? There's cells inside of us. There are little pieces and they're all connected with some, with the brain. And that our entire being is what makes us conscious. So can I say the grass and the weeds and the trees, are they connected, and can they make a consciousness? Are they conscious? If they are, can they talk to us? Well, in this case, no, right? But we know, I've heard a bunch of articles that when you're cutting grass, it makes this chemical reaction, which is basically screaming, which I find horrifying. Yeah. But we can't hear it. We can't hear the screams of the grass. We can't hear the weeds sucking up their energy, right? But to quote a song that I really love, it's by Danny Schmidt, and it's "This Too Shall Pass," right? Which one quote can I'll try to see if I can remember the lyrics, but I pray for hands, I pray for needs, and I pray the blades of grass will find forgiveness in the weeds, which I find like I might be tearing up. Like that's it's so lovely that like you pray your hands will the cells in your hands will keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you pray for needs. You pray the blades of grass will find forgiveness in the weeds. Can they, if the grass is conscious and the weeds are conscious, can they forgive them?
And that's what that's what trees seem to suggest, is that they do have a form of a consciousness. But going back to what you're saying, is we see things, or maybe what I'm saying, maybe what we're saying, we perceive things in a certain way, but that's how we perceive them. We can't perceive how a tree sees existence because we're not trees.
Yes.
We can't see how a dog sees existence because we're not dogs. But we can, and maybe this ties into the big picture, but we know how it is to be treated well, with kindness, integrity, respect. So then we can treat anybody on earth that way, any human being.
Yes.
I don't know. That's kind of a weird way of thinking about it. But I know, based on my kind of cultural experiences, this is how I like to be treated. This is how I should treat others.
Yes. And that's a good thing, but do people really mean it when they say that, right?
Yeah.
Well, can you... This goes into the most evil person, because they're you as well. They have a brain. They're a human. Are you going to unhuman them, or are you going to unperson them? And if you unperson somebody, if you allow this kind of process of unhumaning like a human, then you are like you're making a method of basically cutting ties with the world. You made a method that everybody could use, which is unpersoning, and everybody can do that now, right? Everybody does it all the time. Flat earthers, can you empathize with them? I asked you. I'll try to empathize with, who's the most evil person. Xi Jinping, Trump, Trudeau, whoever it is. These politicians are people. They're human beings, and I'm not gonna unperson them because just because they unpersoned me.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
When we think about evil, right, our measurement that we always go to is, I'm not Hitler, right? Like, that's the worst person. But like you're kind of saying is that...
Are you asking me if I can forgive Hitler?
Can you forgive Hitler?
I mean, look at his life. He went to like World War I. He went to as an artist. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't. If it's really like a hard thing to say, right? Because of how many people I might offend, right? But I'll
can't
try.
offend me. Yeah.
Does it offend you?
How could you say that?
Oh well, sure. How could you forgive Hitler? You are basically him now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, who was I talking? Okay, I was talking to somebody, and in the world, there's a lot of virtue signaling, right?
Yes.
We try to fight over who's more woke than the next person, right? Like, I have 10 black friends. I'm more woke than you. It's like, I think you're missing the point, right?
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about who you are internally. Are you trying to become a better person?
Yeah, and I might use that same tactic, but in the other way, just to make fun of it, right? What if I say right now that I'm in Canada, so I sometimes go up north more, and see if I stick back there. Give me a second.
I can't see your video, just by the way.
Oh, no?
No, I can't. Oh, did you have it set up the whole time?
Yeah, I thought you could see me. Oh boy.
No, I can't. Yeah, well, because you said stick, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't see him. Can you try and... I'm just gonna pause.
Wait.
How
about this?
There it is. There. Okay,
Hey,
there it is. Hey, what's
man,
up?
I should have told that. I was doing a bunch of hand motions and stuff, so I thought you could see me the whole time.
That's all right. Okay, so So,
Like, let's say, so on virtue signaling, right?
okay,
Let's see another way of using this same tactic, right?
sure.
Because the tactic it is words over actions, right? That he was like, I have a bunch of black friends, but
Words over action. Okay,
yes,
yeah. I'm
yes.
following you.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the methodology of it, right? It's what I say, and instead of doing something about it, I'll just say I did it, which is I have a bunch, Black Lives Matter, hashtag pride, hashtag
Look, I
love,
did it.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, but instead of actually doing something about it, right?
Hell
I'm
yeah.
talking to politicians, I'm talking to everybody who's like virtue signaling. So let's say this stick, right? I made this in 2016,
Okay.
0405, right? I have a label I put there. You could just take my word for it. Words
I
over
saw it.
actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
See the stick? It twists like a Mobius strip. So
Mhm.
you know what a Mobius strip is, right?
No.
It's like a wrapped foil and it's like curved one way, so it only has one side.
Okay.
Basically, it links the both sides together. Anyways, that's what this is. It's a Mobius stick, which I
Right.
call it. It's mathematical. I'm a math nerd as well.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So I made this stick and I made it twist by just using a chisel and everything, right? And I come up north sometimes and I use it to club baby seals in the head. I just smash their head in like this, right?
Yeah.
I like Aikido, which is like, you've seen Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
You know about Walking Dead, there's one of the guys there, he knows Aikido, and he has just a stick about this size, and this, so that's what
Yeah.
I do to little baby seals. Now, I said that, but do I actually do that?
Right.
Right? It could be seen as a joke, and that's what a joke is in
Yeah.
this case, right? That
Right.
type of joke. It's words over actions, and people can use that to virtue signal. And I could
Well,
use that to say I club baby seals.
yes. Which you don't, right?
No,
Okay, good.
but will you believe me?
Well, when you
What's
said
the
it, my heart sank. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I really bought it. You really bought it.
Yeah. You were so convincing with that stick. It was so long-winded. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? I'm like, whoa, yeah.
I'm so happy you bought that. I'm
gullible, man.
I'm such a good actor.
You are.
Ooh, Hollywood, here I come.
Hey, man, you never know where you'll go.
Yeah.
So, going back to what you're saying, there's intrinsic, and I know I've said this before, so I apologize to my listeners, but there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic virtues or, values, right? And it all comes down to intent. You know when what you're doing is legit.
Yes. And
right?
only you.
But you also know that what you're doing is because you want to look good or you want to follow the herd or whatever, right? And that therein lies the difference, right? Are you going to just post this picture of the the black screen blackout Tuesday and say, "Oh, well, hey, I'm done my due diligence."
Done. Yeah.
Or are you going to read the books? Are you going to have those uncomfortable conversations? Are you going to talk to people like, "Hey, I know I've said things in the past that have been racist for, whatever." My point is that there's a difference between, doing that thing and then just making it a choice.
Yes. And okay, I'm sorry if I cut you off. Or
No,
anything,
please.
right?
I'm glad you did. Yeah.
Well, I do. I'm glad when people cut me off too. I don't want to go off on like a whole rant and then like people like, yeah, okay, all right.
That's all good, man. Yeah, you're free.
Yeah, so because that's it gets in, like, I'm connecting this with so many like philosophies, which is like collectivism and individualism. And we have collectivism in the East, we can say, and collectivism in the West.
Yeah.
Was I talking about geography? No, I was just, these are the directions of my
State
house.
of mind, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So like we have those two things, which is basically individualism, us, and collectivism, the rest that isn't us.
Right.
So we have these like, all these philosophies and all these stuff, and like I'm trying to find like what is actually Because right now I lost my train of thought.
Well, okay. So, and let me just say here is what you're describing is eclecticism, right? Is that in your life, how old are you?
Let's say 25.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm 30. I mean, let's say, and
Oh,
I
oh,
am
oh.
30, but that doesn't mean anything, man.
Yeah.
Age means nothing. Well,
Yeah.
actually, it does. Just
Does it?
I'll try and flesh out my point here first. So as you age, you experience things in life, right? And I had a lot of crazy experiences in my life. And all of these things have formulated what I currently hold as my perception of the world.
Yes.
Right now, today, 5 years from now, it might be completely different. You know, I might not be having this conversation with you. I might not be able to tolerate it for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But that's not where I am today. Right now, I'm like, this is great. Like this guy, he's a very interesting person.
Thank
So
you.
my point is that where we are is just where we are, but we are subject to change. And anybody who thinks that they aren't, well, then they're what's called a flat character, and you know they're fucking boring.
Yeah.
We're supposed to change.
What were we? I'm sorry, but what were we? What were you saying before we started talking about rants and stuff? Like, I don't want to rant, everybody. I forgot. I had like an idea that I wanted
You
to
were
share, and
talking
then I
about
cut it off.
virtue signaling.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that right?
It was like words over,
Right. Words over actions, or
Yeah.
actions over words.
Yeah, because like, I'll try to scream out to politicians like, this is what you're doing wrong. Like, there's so much things that, like, it seems like it's simple, like it's such a simple thing, but people call it complex, and you can't understand this. It's way too complex. Why? I want to know. I want to learn. I want to understand, because I just see these people suffering. I see the suffering over the world, and one people say, don't watch the news. It's just hurts, right? But why would I cut off humanity? Why would I cut off the rest of the world? Right? Those screaming to the top of their lungs for, like, we are in pain, we are hurting. There's people, there's police in the streets, there's inequality everywhere. Do I have to turn them off just to feel better? How about I do something to fix it? Right? I don't care about virtue signaling or anything. If I wanted to feel better, I'd shut off the news. I'd shut off everybody else, right? Screw your problems. I'm dealing with me, which is okay, right? That's okay if you want to shut off for a minute, shut off the world for a minute and just take care of yourself. But right now, I believe I'm healthy enough to shout out to the world and help. Like, these are my solutions. My brain is its own computer. I could find a solution. These are the solutions here, and I will empathize with everybody and see, like, because when people say that, when you say that there's a solution that could make everybody happy, people like, that's impossible. Well, I got one. This is the Church of Absurdism. That's mine, right?
So this is a place for everybody.
Yeah, it's be as absurd as you can, right? If age doesn't matter, I'm 72, right? You can't find that out through the key. If you just see somebody type it, you see a message on that, they say they're 72, you got to take their word for it, right? You don't have more information. You can't see them, right? You just see their words,
Right.
But you're still taking them. You're still believing their words. Like, if they're talking, like, if you ask somebody on like a woodworking forum,
Yeah.
they say they're 70 years old and here's all the stuff, and you believe all of them because you follow them. It happens. It works. The information, you believe them. But what if they're not 70 years old? They're just me. Right? You still believe the words. It's just because the information is all that matters.
Right. So it's almost like, you know, in an email, at the end of the email, it's like, this person is a master's degree, a doctor,
Yeah.
and stuff. But then they're talking about like Taekwondo or something. And you're like, that has nothing to do with what you're a doctor of, right?
Oh, like there's some like a whole like
Yeah. They got like
a whole pair.
15 accolades, but then they're talking about something that's not even related to that. So I like what you're saying. And that's this idea of like, if it's good information, why does it matter who it's coming from?
Yeah. And I could let like one thing I feel about that is like, oh, you're just another like, because one of the things I'm trying to connect myself with is as the second, I'm pretending to be the second coming of Jesus Christ. Why not? Right? This is a story people have come up with and they've been talking about it. Can't I hijack this? Can I hijack this?
Right.
So that's one of the things that the Church of Absurdism is officially using. Trend hijacking, which I call it.
Trend hijacking.
Yes.
Okay. So
Because
go ahead.
yeah, I could, because just like this, like you said, if you can get an email from somebody telling you like threatening your life and like saying a bunch of like, you know, derogatory terms, right? And at the end it says Masters of Philosophy at SFU or whatever, right?
Yeah.
What exactly do you like? What's your point here? Why did you even put that tagline at the bottom just to like give yourself extra credit, right?
Right.
Well, like I could be anybody then in that case, right? Anybody can say anything in this case. So I could say a bunch of good things and then at the end put /Donald Trump. I can say a bunch of bad things and at the end say the second coming of Jesus Christ said
Right.
all of this,
Right.
right? Which is absurd.
That is absurd. You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
That,
I think that like you talked about our brains are like computers, which is very true. We can only process so much. We can only have so many applications running until we start to slow down in our processing speeds. We're talking about our brain. So when we see crazy stuff like the second coming of Jesus, we're just like, what? And then we don't even really like have time for that. We're like, I'm just gonna close that box.
Yeah.
But then when we start reading something and it's about, I don't know, sleep, 10 ways to get a good night's sleep, because we love lists.
Listicles.
Yeah,
It's a whole new
listicles.
thing. Yeah.
10 ways. And then at the end it's like doctor, whatever of sleep. And we're like, ooh, well, this doctor said it, right? Now, if it was 10 ways of getting sleep and at the end it said the second coming of Jesus, people would be like, what? They'd be like, WTF is this, right?
Yeah.
And they probably, but it's good advice. Would they still take it? I don't know.
That's a good idea. I think I might do that.
Yeah. Do your listicles.
I'll do a bunch of listicles. I'll make a bunch of spam at the end.
Hi, it's the second Messiah, and we have the top 10 action films of 2019.
Because this part was inspired to me by another song. There's a bunch of songs that I listen to, and then it's like I feel the feeling that they try to give, right? And that's kind of one is called Jerusalem by Dan something. I can't. But one of the things is like he claims that I'm the Messiah. Right? All the ancient kings came to my door. They said, "Do you want to be an ancient king too?" I said, "Yes, very much." So it was like kind of like that. So everybody's waiting for a Messiah. The Jews are waiting. The Christians are waiting. Also the Muslims. It's like everybody's waiting a long time. And you know how I hate to wait, like even for a bus or something. So I think it's time now. Time to reveal myself. I am the Messiah. I am the Messiah. Right?
Is that how the song goes?
I'm the Messiah. Yes, I'm just trying. I'm really trying to just get the point across, but that's how the song goes, right?
Wow.
Amazing. And I heard this through Night Vale, which is a
heavy metal band.
No, Night Vale. It's a podcast. It's a podcast, fictional podcast story. The Welcome to Night Vale.
No, I haven't heard that. No.
Really, it's really lovely, and it's one of the criticisms for it is weird for weird's sake.
Right. It just,
But
yeah.
and I dig it. I'm fine with it, right? All
You
hail,
don't say.
all hail the magnificent glow
Yeah.
cloud or whatever, right?
Yeah. Weird is good.
Yes, and
Normal is boring.
one of the weathers, right? So
Mhm.
like it's a radio broadcast kind of parody, right? So like here's a weather report for today, right? Today's weather, and it's a song. It's not a weather report or anything. It's amazing, and those weather reports, right, have a whole playlist of them, and it's every single one I love, right? Every single one of those songs they've picked, I love. And that's This Too Shall Pass. That's the song earlier of Forgive the Weeds.
Right.
It's This Jerusalem, right? Which is I'm the Messiah. And there's so much, like these are voices of people, right? These are people who had an idea and they made a song. And yeah, that's one thing that, sure, why not? I'm the Messiah.
Well, you got a point, Josh. We live in boxes. We live the dutiful son. We all just want, or dutiful, whatever, child. We all just want to
Oh, I
get
thought,
by, follow the rules. But you know what? Like you are doing whatever you want to do. And you seem like the freest man on the planet right now.
dude, okay,
You're definitely not trying to impress anybody. And I admire that.
I've been trying to impress everybody for 20 years, man. I
Right.
give up.
Right. Yeah.
I want to say that I'm from a family that's religious, right?
Mhm.
And I went through my own like atheist phase, and then I became agnostic, and then I'm just like floating in this while of God or whatever God. That's it, right? And
Yeah.
when people say I found God, well, whatever that means, right? I did, and I wrote it down, exact date of when I found God. But that's, can I be insane for a minute, right? Can you believe that I found God? I
I
just
don't
want to
know.
ask you. That's a question.
Well, so you're asking for a yes/no answer.
Yes.
Ooh, that's tough.
Can you believe I found the identity of God?
No.
Hmm?
No.
No. Sucks. I mean, I have to do that for a lot of people, but yeah, I guess.
But
So I wrote the time.
Convince me otherwise. Yeah.
I wrote the time here,
Okay.
right? I'll read it out, and I'll show it later on. But 2020, like I wrote it in official ISO, standard time. 2020 07 29. So July 29th at 17:35 plus or minus 5 minutes. I found God. It was me all along. I asked myself how to solve the problems of the world, and I think I have an answer. Connect, virtualize, empathize, and pseudo.
And
I'm a
pseudo.
I'm a computer nerd too, so some people might do you know what pseudo is? Super user do,
Okay.
which is sometimes if you don't have permissions for this like server you're on, you type in sudo, you have to type in a password, and now you're a super user. You have full access to the entire server basically.
The
So
Matrix.
you don't want to give that out, right, to
Yeah.
anybody. But that's what it is, sudo. If something doesn't work, type sudo in the end, and it works. Whoa! I just needed the permissions, right? Right. So that's kind of that's kind of my idea. I'll connect with people, virtualize and empathize with them, and then I'll run the sudo command. See if I can grab access to them.
Oh,
Might be
you're
scary, right?
So are you a virus?
Oh, love it. I thought this was my first analogy to this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, yeah, that's what ideas are, aren't they? Viruses, they go into people, they multiply, and they spread.
Yeah.
So sure.
Well, I know this is probably going to offend people, but religion is like a virus, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's what the Church of Absurdism is. It's
There
a
you go.
mind virus. It's a virus that is only compatible with humans, for now, at least.
So how many converts do you have of the Church of Absurdism?
Why would you ask that? 1 second.
Well, I'm curious because I love the name of it, like the Church of Absurdism. And when I see that, I'm like, is this guy for real, or is this guy punking me, or what's going on?
It was a satire. That's a lot of questions I got too. Is this page satire? Is this fake?
What is it? And let the mind run. How many people have reached out? Maybe not
And like,
converts.
does that mean like, quite a few? You. So
Yeah.
we have what can I prove? Can I say 1,000? If I say 1,000 people follow me, 1,000,000 people follow me. What does that mean to you, right? You just know that you reached out to me. That's all we know. The number I could say is, let's say 12.
XYZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked is because the name is awesome, and it's like, why don't more people look this up?
You saw the logo? I thought of that logo and I was like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
What is that logo?
It's the CO. Like, could you check the Facebook page?
Yeah, I'll pull that.
Bring it up just so we know. I need to relieve my nicotine addiction. So you might see me. I was like, I shouldn't.
You're vaping.
I shouldn't vape in front of this guy, right?
You
That
your whole life ahead of you, son. What are you doing?
I mean, that's kind of like the drugs were a way to escape, and that's
Right.
kind of what I stuck with, and now I'm addicted to nicotine. Shit.
Well, at least that's the drug that you got stuck on. Nothing else. Church of Absurdism.
That you know of.
That I know of. Yeah, I mean, hey, cocaine can definitely ruin your life.
No way I'm touching that stuff, man. I like to smell things.
Well, you smell that too. So wait, okay, what is this picture on your cover photo?
The
guy, he's holding the rock.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the myth of.
Right.
Let me search the name first. Give me a second here. Cepheus, the symbol of this absurdism of existence, right? That was painted by Franz Struck in 1920, 100 years ago. Wow, that's nice to know, right? And that's the myth of Cepheus. He had to push a rock. He was cursed by the gods to push a rock up a hill, only for it to fall down again, and he had to do that for eternity.
Right.
And that myth was probably created to just describe humanity. That's my take on it. That's my interpretation.
What is the point? Have you ever seen Austin Powers?
Of course.
What does it all mean, Basil?
Yes. So it's like,
don't mean shit. Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps. But
we are meaning making creatures.
Yes.
Which is, again, ties into what you're saying, is we want to make meaning.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of
why now, and I'm just looking at the time here and I'm like, oh my gosh.
How much time do we have left? Because I need to eat too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can finish up now. We can always go again, my friend.
Yeah, you can always invite me on. I'm trying to do some podcasting too, right? The iHeartRadio has a I don't know if you know about this, but they have like a contest going on.
Oh.
Yeah, for like you bring in your pitch. I think there's around 12 days left of it. So, yeah. You mind that's why I said I was recording. You mind I
I don't mind.
Link yours, right?
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
I'll start my own podcast. Everybody else is doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? And you start it up and you share it, and just do. Yeah. Going back to what you're saying is do what you do to break free of insanity, right?
Insanity.
Or maybe that's one of the enter. Thing, right? Yeah, maybe that's what we're after. I don't know.
Because what we do to insane people, we lock them up. Was that the right thing to do? They're hurting themselves. Let's lock them up.
That's a tough one too, right?
Yeah.
Who's the guy who wrote about was it Foucault? I don't know what his name is, but anyways, The
About which?
History of Madness. Have you ever heard of that book?
Freud? No.
It's not Freud. It's
No.
Michael or Michael Foucault, and he wrote this book called The History of Madness.
Yeah,
And
I
he
should
talks
read it.
about how we used to think that people who were crazy were like wizards and stuff. Like they had a
Yeah, can we go back to that? I would be a wizard, man. That would be cool. I want to be a wizard.
who
New Zealand,
knows, right? Or you
New
might be a heretic, right?
Dude, New Zealand has a wizard. They have an official wizard in New Zealand. I want to move there now. I'll be
Well,
able to be a wizard.
yeah, yeah. Now, so you're located in Surrey, I guess, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where I am. I'm in
Okay.
Surrey. I'm
Yeah.
in
I'm
BC.
BC. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most of the location I want to give, right?
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna send anybody. I'm not gonna call
when I say I'm the second coming of Jesus Christ, so what are people gonna do? Crucify me? I don't want to. Can we skip that part?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what does that mean? You're the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Like that's kind of like the thing. It's just I believe that Jesus I think he was an entertainer. He had an idea of like, forgive everybody, and that sounds like a good idea. Forgive everyone around, like preach on a mountaintop, start talking to people, right? And he said he'll come again. Somebody will come up with the idea again. I think I have his idea. Why not be the second coming?
Yeah.
Just don't crucify me this time, guys.
Well, don't have a friend named Judas. That's my advice for you.
Oh, damn it.
So what do you
I think I failed. Huh?
Oh, you do have a friend named Judas?
Shit. Yeah.
Oh, well, you better drop that guy like it's hot, man.
Oh boy.
What do your parents think about all this? Because you said that they're religious, and then that you went through an atheist phase, and now here you are. You're the second Messiah, the founder of the Church of Absurdism. But really, what do your parents think of this?
They're supportive, which I find like, they're supportive of me, just me. So I don't think they gave me the time of day to understand like what my philosophy is, right? But because they're immigrants to this country, right? And they have I don't know why I said that right now, but yeah, they have work to do, right? My mom's a nurse, right? She's busy all the time with all this current apocalypse going on, right? But sorry it took 2,000 years to get back. But yeah, my mom's busy. My dad's also like a essential worker, so they're busy. They can't really like. I'm not gonna. They support me, which I'm like, it's love. It's loving. I love my parents, and I don't. If they don't want to listen to me, it's okay. It's okay, right?
Yeah. Well, they're letting you do your thing, man. That's awesome. Now, why on your hat does it say character?
It's my character hat.
Are you into like drama or something like that?
No, I wasn't. I was always like envious of the drama kids and how cool they were. I was never that cool at school.
You're trying to tell me that you couldn't be in drama.
I told you, man, I was depressed at high school.
And what are you now?
Right now, I'm just doing like casual work.
But internally, you say that you've had these battles with mental illness. What about now?
I have found a purpose in life. Right? That day, right? July 29th, right? That time I found a purpose in life, and suddenly all this, because I finally found out why I was suicidal. I found a reason why these thoughts kept coming in. And it's because I keep empathizing with everybody. I can be like, oh my gosh, I'm so cool. I'm an empath, right? Mm-hmm. That word empath kind of is a little cringy to use now and then. But when I see the news, I get angry. I see these people who are suffering. It hurts, right? And it's either that's what I felt. I felt like the universe. I empathized with the universe, and the universe was killing itself. So I wanted to do it. I wanted to kill myself.
Right.
And screw it. Instead of shutting off, either I shut off everybody, which I've done in the past. I've deleted Facebook. I've deleted, everything, wiped my existence off the world, and just took care of myself. And that wasn't good enough for me. So it's either I shut people out or I solve the world's problems and I stop people from suffering. And that's my main goal. I want unity in the human race. And if I don't achieve that, then my life has failed. I will live forever, I would, if I could, right? I'll keep on going as long as I'm not killed. I'll solve the world's problems. If anybody listens to me, right? Give me the information. Stop your secrets. Tell me all your lies, right? And I'll forgive you for them. Just give me the information. I'll parse them with my computer in my head. And this is my answer. It's either do this is right, or I need more information. And you need to stop lying to me.
Well, it sounds very ambitious, what you're trying to do. I don't think that mankind can ever find unity. I think that that's a little bit utopianist.
Why?
Just based on our nature and the nature of, we are animals.
I could change that nature and I'll tame the animals.
Well,
I'm talking, right now I could be talking out of my ass, but
and that's okay. You can do that, but I'm just telling you that.
I hope that I just want to tell everybody that that's my goal, right?
And they are ambitious goals, but
yes,
I don't think you should measure your life on whether or not you've been successful on.
If not, then I'm
if
just
you've
some
been
fucking
able to
guy.
Maybe. Yeah. But you're a guy who's embarking on a very noble endeavor. And I admire that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy. That's my purpose. That's the purpose I found. And finally I had one. Finally I had a meaning. I got over the absurd. I found a meaning to life. And I like quotes. I like a lot of quotes. Do you know Pokemon? Have you heard of Pokemon?
Of course I've heard of Pokemon.
You know Team Rocket?
Yes.
The duo, right?
Yeah.
They introduce themselves with a poem every time, a motto, right? And what does that motto go? Do you know the motto?
I don't
Prepare
recall.
for trouble, make it double. To protect the world from devastation. To unite all peoples within our nation. To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. And then a talking cat comes in the end and tells them they're right. If I didn't hear a talk, I never saw a cat talk before, but if I did, I'd listen to it. And these two people said they're right. And they protect the world from devastation. It's getting devastated right now. We need to unite all people and denounce anybody who's using truth and love as a way to justify violence. And then once we're all united, we can extend our reach to the stars above. And we can explore the universe like we should have. We should have all been, ever since the people landed on the moon, we could do that. We can do, as humanity, if we just all shut up and stop, fighting each other, stop hitting each other, we can all explore the universe together. And it sucks that I'm at this time, I was born at this time of just everybody fighting each other and everybody calling each other and stupid and insane and cutting everybody off and racism and inequality and all this garbage. Like we could explore the universe. God, guys.
But conflict, like I've said, as far as what we've known, has always been going on. So really, I think, Josh, you're born at the best time for this message. So I wish you luck in that. I am just looking at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop it there. But it'd be great.
I still have to explain the logo and everything. That was kind of the thing in my head.
Oh, that's okay. Well, but people got to check it out. So
yes.
it's a Church of Absurdism. They can find you on Facebook. Just Google
Yes.
search. Church.
I'm gonna make a Discord. I have a Twitter, right?
Keep it up.
At C Absurdism, no space, right? Just to plug in all my stuff.
I love it, man. I tell you, man, you got something going on here, and
Yeah.
maybe like you say, it's crazy, it's wild, it's absurd, but maybe it's what we all need.
Yeah. I just need a mountain. Thank you for providing this, a hill I could stand on to like preach to people. But
you're Mount Sinai,
huh?
You're Mount Sinai. Yeah, I think that's what I probably not saying that right, but anyways, you're welcome.
I still need to. I'm still studying the Bible every now and then, but whatever, man.
There's lots of great books out there,
and you need to send me those, the Sapient and that other one by the Michael.
Yeah.
So text me those two book titles and the author names, because I need to read those too.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, you know what? We hope to hear from you again soon. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you take care, okay, Josh?
All right. You take care. Stay safe, man. And I guess that's it, right?
All righty.
I'll see you when the world unites, or next time, whenever that is. Cheers.
I like that.